All right. Thank you everyone for waiting. We have sorry, I forgot your name. Leanne, Kate, Leanne from which university?
Latrobe.
Latrobe. Kate from UNE. Kate from UTS. Talking about ePortfolio innovation. So I hand over the mic to Leanne here in the room, so they can give a brief introduction. So I'll just go around and see if anyone's looking.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. We're a couple minutes early. I'm going to try and do my best to probably just make this a little bit smaller. Sit down there. We'll put you up there.
Yeah, you don't need to see me all the time up
Yeah,
there.
I'm not too sure why you're appearing, but your lovely face, Christina, is much appreciated. Not too sure. How do I, Zachary, how do I pin this room? I don't want to pin it as in like, that will go to the main screen, won't it? I'm just thinking, because Christina appears, I'd love to see her face there, but that's okay. I'm not too fast. Yeah. Yeah, pin Kate or pin something. Yeah.
Yeah, pin Kate as co-host.
Yeah, Kate and Keith as well. So. All right, beautiful.
That makes
You don't have to pin me. No one wants to see my dodgy eyes.
It's perfect. Right. All right. Oh, awesome. All right. I'll just probably make it a bit smaller. If that's all right. Or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Let's see how we go. Yeah. All right, awesome. Well, thank you. Well, we're starting on time at 9:45, so that's fantastic. And thank you so much to those online and also here today as well. So we've got a 90-minute workshop, and as Alison puts it, it's your time, our time to actually work on something that's practical as well, with a lot of different types of folks in the room and online as well, with different levels of experiences as well in this space. We're going to look at working together to collaboratively look at programmatic lens design with the ePortfolio lens in context to this for the next 90 minutes. All right, so your facilitators for today. So I'm Leanne, I'm from Latrobe University, based in Melbourne. We have our colleagues, Keith. Keith's come and say hi as well. Keith, fantastic, beaming in from UTS in Sydney, Electro and Learning Design. We have Kate Mitchell as well. Say hi, Kate.
Hi.
Fabulous. So Kate's from the University of New England. We also have Kashmira as well, and I believe Kashmira is in transit on a flight from the US. So yeah, so she's unfortunately can't join us today, but fantastic colleague for us. All right, so we do have a resource page as well, and I'll just move the gallery to the other side. Feel free to scan that. So for those who are online, please feel free to look at that, scan that, or Kate or Keith will also put the link in the chat area. So feel free to scan that. I do have some printouts as well that Zachary has kindly printed out for our on-campus participants today. So we've got a couple of worksheets, a couple of examples in there that we can progress forward. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Nearly there. Yep. Beautiful. Nearly there on campus. All right. All right. I'm going to move to the next slide now. Thank you. And we're still QRing at our end as well. So beautiful. Okay, good. Excellent. Now I'm going to move the gallery to the other side as well. So today, 90 minutes, we're going to talk about the first 10 minutes just to introduce, give you the rationale, the reason why we're looking at programmatic design with an ePortfolio context, the purpose of today's session, and also the rules of engagement online and also face-to-face as well. We're going to do a quick 5-minute activity to really get to know who you are and what kind of skill levels we have today and online. And we're also going to do 2 main activities, really hands-on, really looking at that vision side, the purpose of this programmatic approach to ePortfolios, and also really hack in terms of draft and design, what it could actually look like from a student's point of view as well. And then within your teams, we'll come back for around 15 minutes and to share what you've got across online and also face-to-face as well. And we'll wrap up at the end. All right. And can I click on this to get rid of this? Yes, I can. All right, awesome. So reasons for programmatic ePortfolios. And, you know, it's one of those things where the programmatic course-wide design has been in trend, in popularity over the last few years, probably more than a few years, probably a decade ago, where universities, even TAFE sectors, or those who are designing curricula across a course, no longer are you looking at siloed, you know, subjects or units within an actual course or program. You need to think about it from a course-wide perspective and how your subject or your unit, if you're teaching that or you're supporting an academic or an educator in that space, how it fits into the overall course-wide approach. And why are we looking at this for ePortfolios perspective? So it's a high impact practice area that's been noted across ePortfolio space associations across the US and globally as well. There is a need to look at it holistically, not just within a subject or a unit. We need to look at it from end to end, from a student experience point of view as well. And it's not just their learning journey along the way, their formal learning journey, but we also need to look at the extra outside, extracurricular activities as well, because we know that they bring in a lot of experiences, skills, and knowledge to the game as well. Deep learning, yes, absolutely. It's one of those things, we're not looking at surface type learning as well. I know that if you're part of a university or TAFE or educational provider, we know that the whole AI stuff is impacting everybody, and it's actually quite a good thing. It gives us a really great rationale for universities to actually seriously put in some resources into their teaching and learning to actually transform their curricula as well, and have to actually have a rethink about that. And most universities, I'm pretty sure every single university's TAFE and educational provider is actually thinking about that at the moment. And within Australia, employability is a big thing. Employability being job ready, skills, etc., especially when funding's allocated to that. And we know that TEXA just last week released that AI principles of assessment as well. And it's all, if you read it properly, it's all ePortfolios, right? In terms of authentic design, it's pretty much that. ePortfolio pedagogy, programmatic design across OR as well, across that. And it's something that, there's a lot of talk, a lot of workshops, which is fantastic. And it's all about sharing of practices in that space. But like I said, it says ePortfolio pedagogy across the actual TEXA proposed document that's just come out last week. And they're looking for some feedback as well across the whole sector to get feedback on that. So we're very lucky in this space, practicing, and those who are learning this space, we're sharing our practices and we're continuing the conversation as well. All right. So what is programmatic learning design for ePortfolios? And I think I've covered parts of this as well. So Keith, Kate, Kashmira and I, we also are part of this learning design special interest group. So we do support a lot of folks in this space to look at learning design and developing that and capability building in that space. But in programmatic learning design, it depends on the course and program. There's always a purpose. You always have to tailor it, all right? Depending on the university, depending on the educational provider, depending on the learners, you need to know who your learners are, all right? It depends on whether it's a master's or it's undergraduate, or maybe it's a graduate certificate, or maybe it's a short course or a micro-credential, right? Depending on what it is. It needs to be purpose-driven, it needs to be tailored, all right? Course-wide approach, we've already said that, needs to be scaffolded, linked up to, course learning outcomes, different, and then link further down to assessment activities and teaching learning activities, etc. And that narrative, that learning journey, that's the key part to this learning journey. And we don't stop. I mean, we know that ePortfolios, it's not just formal learning. And we need to attach that to the learner, make it sense for the learner in itself. But it's also this programmatic design for learning design. It's with the integrative learning part, it's not just about the subjects that's connected along the way. We need to think about the mode of delivery as well. Is it online? Is it hybrid? All right. Are there lectures? I'm not a big fan of lectures, but are there lectures? How many hours of lectures? How often? Are there labs? Are there workshops? Are there field trips? Are there clinical, sites, etc.? So across all of that, you got to think about that holistically as well with that. And feedback could be, I think feedback's been spoken about quite a bit as well. And that's a core part of ePortfolio's feedback, and it's continuous. What type of feedback, how you give feedback, how regular, how frequent, who gives the feedback? Is it self-peer? Is it industry? Is it educators who give that feedback as well? The standard, the levels of feedback, and is it aligned to the learning outcomes or the assessment tasks that are within the actual course-wide approach? And reflection, I think reflection is a core part. I don't have to say too much about that, but it's hard. I'm teaching cybersecurity now. I used to teach in business and law, not business, and it was so hard to teach reflection. It took time to build up over time. It's not an overnight thing. Oh, yeah, but I know that certain cohorts are more difficult. I'm in cybersecurity; it is tricky, right? But I can see the end goal at the end of the day, and it takes time. I'm very positive for that it will work and it will happen. Authentic assessment, yes, we know that ePortfolios is a brilliant, tool, pedagogy, context lens to allowing us to look at designing real authentic assessments across the board as well. That's holistic. And how we design it at what points within the actual course, all right? We'll have a look at that as well. So programmatic, it's that overview, holistic approach to course design. And it's not easy. It's complex and it takes time, and you have multiple people involved, different stakeholders involved as well. And that's why, like today, we have 90 minutes, Rob, to look at this, but I think today it's great to just really draw out, the key issues, and really you're exposed to, and that's why I love this ePortfolio community. We have people who are just so giving in terms of their, experience and skills, and there's opportunities to learn from each other as well. So here we are talking about this. It's complex, it's not easy, and it takes time, all right, to do programmatic work in ePortfolios and designing course-wide approach to anything. Takes time. All right, we've got a few session purpose, session outcomes for today, or objectives for today. And really we're looking at, and I've mentioned some of this already, it's an opportunity to collaborate with other peers, network as well. We're a very close-knit community. And we also want you to come in to really apply your design thinking skills. And it's been mentioned earlier today throughout. I think Kevin mentioned that earlier. I'm a big supporter of design thinking. It's just such a core skill to have, every single individual, doesn't matter which profession you're in. Being able to creatively problem solve a wicked problem and drawing in different perspective, different people in the game is actually really important. And in this room, I'm seeing that we have different perspective. I'm not just talking about your expertise in your professionalism, but also you may have different experiences in your life skills, etc., that we can draw upon as well to be able to look at problem solving this at the moment. And yes, we'll be looking at different ways, different purposes with ePortfolios. We'll also look at practical activities, and we've got some templates here as well. And we're also here to expand our understanding. I'm also here to network and also see what your skill sets and knowledge are as well, because drawing from different disciplines and professions, we always want to continuously improve what we do in this space. And like I said, it's not easy, it's hard and it's complex, and it takes time to look at programmatic approach to anything, because we know that some courses, they last 3 years, even 4 years, and even 2 years for masters, and even more longer as well to see the benefits, or even 6 years, yep, etc. I've never had an experience with PhD programs, but they're sometimes even longer as well, so with portfolios, etc. So it does take time in a lot of people, and just changing that mindset takes time as well. Okay, so the rules of engagement. We're in this room together, hybrid, online as well. We've got our fabulous Kate and Keith online to keep the online folks in check as well. But the key thing is, be open, be respectful, practice a bit of self-care. You don't have to share everything if you don't want to share everything. Just be mindful of that. Just do what you can, because we know we're all diverse or different, etc. Just be open. I think when you're looking at hacking into something, and the hackathon concept comes from computing, I don't know, I think 30, 40 years ago. And the idea is just to get a problem, hack into it, see if you can break it, and look at different solutions and respecting diverse people in this. So here we are, be open, open-minded in this space. So we're here to work together, support each other to expand our mindsets in this space. All right. The first thing that we want to do is really get to know who's in the room. All right. And why you're here today to look at really, have you've got a problem in terms of wanting to work on a programmatic approach to map out a course. If you're, depends on who you are, you're an educator, you're a course coordinator, or maybe you're an academic developer or a learning designer or ed tech person supporting someone to look at that from a course-wide perspective. Or maybe you're here to learn more just about on learning design in the area of programmatic design in that space. So we're kind of interested to see who has, you know, those level of experience and who's here to really just to learn as well from others at the same time. So we've got a quick Menti poll that Kate has just produced. So if you can just again use your QR in that space, QR code, and just put it in, and just spend probably 30 seconds doing that. And then I'll get Kate to probably share the results. So how are we doing online? I think on campus folks are nearly done.
Lots of discussion online.
Oh, beautiful.
You know, the chat is going off.
Oh,
Sorry, that's mostly me. We've got, so far we've got 8 people who want to directly apply this to a unit or course, and then 10 who are here just to listen and learn and or learn, and 4 people saying other. So hopefully, if you've listed other and wanted to share in the chat why you're here, that would be great. Just so that we can, you know, try and tailor where we can and try and match up some groups is the plan, so that we can have some engaging, you know, time with activities together.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Kate. So that's online, face-to-face. I should have thought about this. But anyways, face-to-face, put your hand up. Put your hand up if you're here for programmatic kind of course-wide, kind of know your discipline and in that space. Yep, 1, 2, etc. Put your hand up if you you're well versed in the ePortfolio space and you can potentially help lead your discussions within a team potentially. Fantastic. We've got 3, 4. Okay. And others are here to kind of learn and probably share. Yep. A few others. So if I reckon we can either have maybe 2 or 3 groups as well. 3 groups, 2 groups. So I think Bernie, Marlene as well. Do you think 2 groups, 2, 3 groups? I'm not, yeah. But you know who the experts are and who people are here in this space? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
I do have a poll around those who are here to do a specific course. Please feel free to add the details, and that way we can maybe choose a selection if that's the easiest, Leanne, but happy to be guided by you.
Yeah, look, I think that's fine. I think what we'll do is if you and Keith can manage the online, we'll go into the first activity and I'll manage the face-to-face at the moment. So I'll introduce the first activity, if that's all right. So what we're doing now in the next 30 minutes. So in a programmatic design of things, especially with ePortfolios, you got to understand what is your purpose? What is your vision statement? What do you actually want to achieve out of all of this, right? And we've got some templates and the resources that's online as well. Yep.
I like to use the term, what does the student look like when they've done?
Yes.
Your visual, what does the student look like when they've done?
Yeah.
They've gone through all these
Yeah.
courses, so you want to think visually. You're
Mhm.
going, okay, this is what this student's going to look like. So they're going to need some of this and some of this and some of this. That helps when you talk about vision. I
Yep.
really try and nut it down to a
Yeah.
picture.
Absolutely, and that's our second activity. But absolutely, so our second activity really looks at that design and what it actually looks like in terms of, because part of the activity is to brainstorm the artifacts, the tangible assets that are in place as well. Absolutely, yeah, but yeah, absolutely, and the vision also looks at and I like to think about this when you design programmatic approach to course wide is what kind of graduate or student do you want to mold and have at the end of the day as well? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Sometimes the word vision is like,
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll spend around 30 minutes looking at that and have a think about if you're working on a particular discipline or course, do think about whether your discipline has any graduate capabilities or there's any professional standards that you need to think about, and learning outcomes, course learning outcomes, any threshold learning outcomes attached to that as well. So that will all help look at that purpose of this particular portfolio. So the portfolio, depending on what it is it a career portfolio? You're looking at really to developing as a learning perspective. We've had some great presentations yesterday as well. So Marty did some great presentations with the swimming lane analogy as well and all the various types. And I think I managed to, like Jessica Tai has some frameworks as well for programmatic approach and the different types of purposes. So there's actually quite a few great presentations that was done throughout yesterday as well. So what we want to do is there is a template. Spend around 30 minutes. Do think about this vision statement, less than 100 words, and think about whether there's any graduate capabilities, professional standards, course learning outcomes that are already there, right, within your group. Start doing that. And then what we'll do is at the end of that roughly 30 minutes, we'll come back and then we'll start to draft and hack and then go into the next activity as well. So what we'll do, Kate and Keith, if you could manage the online, I'm happy to manage the face-to-face participants as well, and we'll come back in around 30 minutes. Sounds good? Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to mute the online folks, and then we'll start. Okay. Let's get started. Okay, so who wants to work on a discipline or program approach? All right, fantastic. Thank you. All right, we're just going to come back. Hopefully everyone's had some great discussions in place as well, because I know our table did. Kate and Keith, are you guys ready to come back? Folks online? We've unmuted.
do we need to bring them back? Are they back in the group?
Yes, close the. Oh, yeah. Let them know. I've texted Kate, so.
Hi, Leanne.
Hi, Kate. How are you?
Good. Everyone's just coming back.
Oh, beautiful. Fantastic.
We didn't quite solve all the world's problems, Leanne, but we certainly talked about them all.
Oh, thanks, Kate. Okay. Yeah, we've had some interesting discussions here as well. I think we've got around 23 minutes or so. We'll probably leave a few minutes, probably 5 minutes for wrap up. And I think it's really just a debrief and sharing what we've discussed and what we've learned along the way would benefit, everyone here as well. So I think we have, is it 2 groups or 3 at the back? Two. Fantastic here. All right, so we've got 2 online as well. I'm just thinking who would like to go first? Just a few minutes debrief across and sharing that across online and face-to-face as well. And Bernie, I'm not picking on you. Or Kate, you're more eager, so yeah.
Yeah, I can. I'll just check how everybody's coming back because I don't want people to miss it. But I could certainly summarize what we did and then invite others to add to that. There were a couple of people who shared some great things, and then there was one person who shared a real wicked problem that I thought would be good to share here, and especially around business education, which is you've had some experience there, Leanne, that I thought you'd be a great one to draw on.
Okay, fabulous. Okay. All right. So, Kate, are you starting with your team?
Sure, why not?
Why not? Go for it.
I just want to thank everyone for what was an amazing discussion, and we didn't solve everything, but it was great to see people utilising the tools and thinking about those problems and how we deal with some of those issues. So Dennis and Sean presented some ideas. Sean was looking at a nursing curriculum, and I loved his vision statement because it really looked at that purpose and rationale both for students and then the purpose and rationale for academic staff. And I thought that was really nice because it wasn't something that I had necessarily considered, and building that rationale for both different groups. And then Dennis, and apologies if I get anyone's name wrong, but Dennis shared work that he was doing professionally with ePortfolios and was utilising the programmatic design mapping document in a slightly different way. And so it was really nice to see how some of those techniques and prompts were still relevant, just even when you're looking at how he was building a portfolio to support academic staff, and so utilising that purpose and rationale in that context and filling out those fields. So I thought that was really nice to just see it being utilised for a slightly different approach and that it was still translatable. And then Olivia, who I'm going to dob in, if you wanted to talk more, Olivia, was discussing just some of those challenges around business education, because we all know that say education and nursing often are pretty much slam dunks when it comes to ePortfolios. They have a real rationale around embedding it because there's placements and professional standards and professional requirements that mean students need to keep ePortfolios, where it makes sense to do it because there is that real guiding, an underpinning, need for it. But in other discipline areas, it's that question of how do you do that, and how do you get that programmatic approach and get people on board and embed it, when there isn't that same kind of deep rationale in the same way. It's harder to kind of get everybody on board, or to I guess build that rationale to the same extent, and looking for solutions around that. I hope I captured that correctly. Please feel free to add to that.
No, covered everything.
Oh, thank you so much, Kate, and to the group as well for sharing that. That was really useful. I'm going to pass it on to Bernie as well on campus side of things, just to summarise.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone online. I'm looking into the camera, I think. So we had a robust discussion. Leanne came with a wicked problem, which was to try and integrate an across, what I'd call an across curriculum. I hope that's okay, Leanne. An across curriculum approach to implementing an ePortfolio across, say, was 4 levels, possibly 4 levels or 4 years worth across different cybersecurity programs. And we had a robust discussion. We all have different experiences, but we also have similar ones. So some of the key things that came up were things like obviously the need for pedagogy and scaffolding, looking at the types of students we had, or Leanne has, which is a diverse population. And, you know, they could be international students, they could have different levels of technical and social skills. But there were quite a few, so many things that we talked about that we could go on for hours. So I'll just summarize a couple of things. So one of the things was the capability, not just of the students, but of the staff to deliver and be able to monitor and you know, guide the students through this process across the degree programs. And workload is an issue, and I don't want to labour the point because I know we're all aware of the workload issues, but we did think about some of the ways that perhaps we could present this to, or Leanne has already got probably ideas about this, but how we present this to the person in charge of, you know, this program, like putting in an ePortfolio, so that we can get them to understand that this is beneficial not just to the university, but it's beneficial to the staff, and getting the staff some learning out of this or some PD is a really important thing. So the capability building was something that came out. I will invite my lovely friends and colleagues here to add to this in a moment. So strong pedagogy and reflective practice. So the reflective practice, this always worries me because coming from a computing background in one of my previous careers, then going into education, I found it as a student very difficult. I thought, why are we reflecting? Why are we needing to do this? I've got the evidence. Why don't you just hire me, kind of thing? You know, I had social skills, I hope, but I wasn't in that headspace. It was making that transition to, I'm going to be a computing specialist, but I need to be able to communicate with people where I'm employed to do a project. So there were things like the human side, the technical skills side, and the ability to reflect and say, not just, I feel this is going to be something I can do, not just saying, yeah, I can do it, but really thinking about what you learned when things perhaps went right, went wrong, what you learned, how you changed your practice, how you changed your approach, and how you would solve a problem in industry. And also Leanne told us that there's strong connections with industry. So this is something that we could probably look at, suggestion, look at getting in earlier into the programs with the students and actually maybe simulating some of these interviews that these students will need to undergo and take when they're going to, you know, do a pitch for a job. So the authentic industry connections are really important. So just to sum up, capability, strong pedagogy and reflective practice, authentic industry connection, and I'll hand to my lovely colleagues. And Deborah, you look eager, so you can say pass. Carmen? Hudson? Yeah, there you go.
I will.
You summarised everything, except it was just allowing the students to have that self-efficacy to look at where they are now and where they are going forward in a connected way, rather than just handing in assessments.
Did you want to add something?
Yeah, and I'll just add in, like, and we spoke about what kind of graduates, what kind of students we want, and the vision for this, you know, programmatic approach to things as well. We wanted to develop individuals that will be positive role models for our society to protect our nation in cybersecurity. So ethics and professionalism is really important, and that needs to be integrated across the program as well. So for that. And the importance of labels as well. Yeah.
That's a great.
Kate.
Sorry, Leanne. I was just going to note that Keith's group hasn't fed back yet.
Yeah, and I think we've got, yeah, Keith. All right, so we've got a bit of time. So I will hand it over to Keith, and then we'll loop back to the last group in our area.
Oh,
go, Keith.
I think we were quite a small group, but I'd just like to note that we had everything that all the other groups did, but I'm going to add some stuff as well. No, I'm kidding. All right. We had some good discussions as well, and some of the things that people did raise, we spoke about as well. But just some of the things that haven't been mentioned yet, but I thought were really important was we wrestled with the notion of assessment, and especially assessment in the age of AI. There's no escaping it. And the value of speaking to the portfolio and how we can incorporate elements of that, and different kinds of ways of doing that. We spoke about that. We spoke more broadly about how when we talk about ePortfolios, it's actually an incredibly diverse field because, I shared my experience of an ePortfolio that is very employer focused and platform independent. And then Penny, for example, shared her example. Oh, and very centrally controlled. And then Penny shared her example, which was almost entirely the opposite, more inward looking and reflective and all those kinds of things. We did wander into the discussion of prompting reflective writing as part of an ePortfolio. And Sherry shared riff.ai, which is a bot that helps students to write reflective writing, and that looks like a lot of fun. So that looked good. We also spoke about how accreditation bodies can have, and different universities and different courses and different programs have different relationships with accrediting bodies, but those accrediting bodies need to be brought along on the journey of the ePortfolio. Otherwise, they are likely not to see the benefits and actually put roadblocks in the way. And how they have a role to play in the adoption of ePortfolios. And then right at the end, I mentioned briefly how I hope that one of the benefits of ePortfolios is making explicit the links between what happens at university at a very granular level and those much bigger ideas of graduate attributes. This is what a university education is like, and this is what a graduate from this university is capable of doing and being. I think that's what we covered. But please, if there's anyone else in my group who wants to jump in and say, "Oh, Keith, you forgot this," now's your chance.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Keith, for that. We've just got one more group here just to close the loop. Sorry? Key points. Anything else you'd like to add?
I'll go ahead. I was helping, we're helping Ashley with, she's working with a dentistry program. So we were talking about how we can create and make that connection between the ADA, which is the Australian Dental Association. So exactly what you've just said there, Keith, about the professional bodies and stuff like that. So that's been my experience as well too. My personal portfolio is much more reflective as well too, so I put that in. But I'm not afraid to show those reflections to a prospective employer, because I am talking about it is reflection on my practice. So I have that included in my portfolio. So that's another thing too, is folks shouldn't shy away to demonstrate that, yeah, I've given some thought to this, because show portfolio, show them in the portfolio, or show the prospective employer. Is it working? So anyway, so we've given a few tips or advice for Ashley to different ways to approach it, because she's getting the pushback of, why do we need this? And it just fits so well when it's a professional body. So hopefully we've given her a few tactics to get there, and it'll eventually evolve into, oh, this worked. Oh, look what we can do now. And then you'll be laughing.
Thank you, Marlene.
I'll just note that Shari's done some great Shari. Now I have to rethink how I say your name, Shari. Shari's done some great work that I just steal now.
It's yours. There's no stealing. I gift it to you. We share all the time.
Shari has some real work around like an ePortfolio learning design process, and around like gauging when people are ready, and like that, like, the academic and institutional readiness for like taking on learning design work around ePortfolios. She did do a TELAdvisors webinar around that. I'll try and find the link. But yeah, like, talk to Shari about what she does, because it's like, it really did inspire me. And I think it's so important just to make sure that people are ready, and and there's no point kind of taking on like implementation if people aren't in the right, or doing something that's too big for people, because then often what happens is that you put in a lot of workload, which we talked about, and then it fails, or it doesn't, it gets abandoned partway through. And it's like, that's investment that could have been spent, successfully in a smaller scale way, or put investment elsewhere. So it's just like making sure that we're all doing it for the right reasons and it's sustainable.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Kate. It's so important to ascertain their readiness before you make that big investment going forward into the pedagogical design, which is very involved with a portfolio. And we were talking about in our group with Keith, around all the alignment across professional bodies and graduate attributes, and and all the things. So we do a readiness meeting to ensure that they have the resources and just the headspace to move into the pedagogy. And from there, they can bail out and say, you know what, in fact, we're not going to move forward with this. And that's great. That's a great outcome for everybody, and get them to consider how we might do it going forward.
Well, I think that's really great. And it dovetails to the next slide where we wrap up as well. We talk about implementation. That readiness is absolutely critical because it's a complex, it's a big base of a project or initiative if you look at undertaking a programmatic approach to what we do. So we've got some key points and we believe we've covered some of these as well across our, we do have another, sorry, we've got one more group on our end as well. Before we wrap up, we've got a few more minutes, but one last group. Any points that you'd like to add?
Yes, I would. Thanks, everybody. Zach is a digital learning designer, and we come from education strategy at CDU. So we have a central portfolio, and we work in a dual sector university, working across VET and HE. So our beautiful person who's come to join us, Megan, sort of got us. So we just said we really wanted to elevate our conversation, covering all of the beautiful points that everybody else has covered. But we were talking about how we wanted to have a helicopter view of how we could be how something so flexible could be, how we could develop systems and approaches and practices that we could advise everybody from a Cert 2 all the way up into master level program, how to use ePortfolios with very much an idea of having a authentic assessment, backwards design approach, and then especially also augmenting or aligning with any of those qualifications or those discipline areas that had professional competencies associated with them, as well as the usual sort of education and nursing. We had one area that Zach is working on at the moment, which is project management. So we discussed how those aspects can be used not only during the course, but also how a project management graduate, how we could make sure that the showcase would be aligned with exactly what we would be expecting a project manager to have, the skills, the capabilities, the templates, the practices, and they could showcase that for their work. So we had a really good discussion, but we sort of, yes, we are at the infancy of our Purple Pad exploration, so it's really difficult to hold a co-design space. And Marty, you all saw his slide yesterday with his little thing that went from easy to hard, and that has come out of lived experience of working across all our different discipline areas and all the challenges of holding we are co-designers, so we're digital learning designers, resource developers, and it's very difficult to hold that co-design space when we don't have mastery at the beginning. So thank you.
Thank you for that. That was really really fantastic to end on that note as well. I think we've got such a great discussion, a lot of great expertise and diversity in our group online and face to face as well. I'm just wary that we do have a couple of minutes left. So the points that I'm sharing on our slides, I think we did cover most of them as well. Across that, it is a big complex, but we've got a diversity of skill sets. But I'm a really big positive thinker. If you know your end goal, it might not be a straight line, it might be zigzag, you might stuff up, you might fail, but you'll get there at the end of the day. So I'm a big supporter of that. Just before, if you would like to get in touch with either myself, Kate, Keith, or Kashmira, our details are there. And a shameless plug, we're big supporters of co-design and working together, providing collegial support as well. So we do have an upcoming workshop, and there are focus on cultural perspectives, scaling up quality design and learning design. And there is a section at the end as well on our workshop that will come together, working together, solving complex problems based on you as learning designers. So these are for learning designers or educators. It is going to be hybrid. hybrid. So again, if you might have an ePortfolio issue, if you want to work together with learning designers, similar to a hybrid mode, it's a free event. It is joint with AskLight, and depends on what it is, whatever problems you have. We do have presenters. We do have an escape room challenge as well that will come in to make it interactive, because one of the key topics was looking at how we design interactive and engaging experiences. How do we scale quality for learning design, and how do we incorporate Indigenous perspectives into our curricula as well? So it's an event in the next couple of weeks, and we're happy to have anyone and everyone on board as well. And if you've got an ePortfolio idea problem, come by and share that as well. We're here to help you and support you along the way. But on that note, Kate and Keith, I'd like to say thank you to everybody for your active engagement. And I think we're really appreciative of everyone here today.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Leanne, I just wanted to note for Zach, I mean, you've got our details there. I just noting that University of Melbourne, there were some project management academics who had built a whole rubric that had kind of triangulated all those different project management competencies, and we're using that in relation to ePortfolios. So just contact me if you want their details and you want to get in touch with them.
Thank you so much, Kate. I will. That sounds fantastic. Thank you. Look, I'd just like to thank Leanne for a fantastic presentation and hackathon, and also thank you to Kate and Kashmira and Keith for their support with the breakout groups online and for all they've shared today. I think we'll be heading off for morning tea now. We've got half an hour for morning tea, so we'll be back online in 30 minutes. Just again, can we please give Leanne, Kate, Kashmira and Keith a big round of applause, and thank you. Thank you all.